Welcome to our members information session for January 2022. Let me begin first of all by wishing all of our members, our friends, our partners a happy new year, God's richest blessings and good health as we go through the ensuing months. As you know, the Small Business Association has hosted a members information session each month for the past years, and we've used these sessions to bring to our membership critical topics of national importance, areas of education and development to help our members manage their businesses better. We've used these webinars also to showcase some of our partners, the goods and services that they're offering to the MSME sector. But as we begin this new year, we thought that we'll start with a different type of information session, and that is one that introduces our board of directors, that allows you, the membership and our partners, to see who are those persons charged with the governance of this organization. Now, why is this important at this time? We all know that we are still experiencing a health crisis with the COVID-19 pandemic, which has further contributed to an economic crisis. And as a result of these crises, we are still challenged with our economy. We're still challenged financially. We are hearing from many of our members the difficulty in trying to keep their businesses afloat. Yes, we've seen some innovation. We've seen some new goods and services come into the marketplace. But overall, the business community at this point in time, and understandably so, is experiencing some difficulty. And we feel it's important as we begin this new year to cast the correct vision for the membership and for the sector at large in helping us to understand and to assure our constituents that your association is in good hands. We have just recently concluded our annual general meeting where a number of persons were elected to the board of directors. We have our chairman and first and second vice chairs, our treasurer, as well as several sectoral directors, all charged with the responsibility of governing this agency. So it's important at this time for you to hear from them. How do they see this role, especially during this challenging environment? We believe it is important that you put a face to the name that you'll see many times in our literature. These are men and women who have the competency needed to govern our agency at this time. We believe that they have the character that is required, a character of principle and integrity, and that they have the compassion to care themselves, being business owners, to determine the kind of policy direction, the kind of strategic direction for our association at this time. And so, for the next few moments, you'll hear from the members of our board as they share with you what would have influenced their desire to step up, as it were, to leadership at this time, and also maybe what is their vision for the future. Ladies and gentlemen, members of the association all, we understand and appreciate that the ensuing months may very well be challenging for some. But we want to give you the assurance that your small business association is in good hands. And as you continue to work with us, to partner with us, we believe that together we can rise to the occasion. Together we can collaborate and ensure that we bring the kind of transformative and developmental programs and policies that are needed to help with the growth and sustainability of our micro, small, and medium enterprise sector at this time. So, this January information session is going to look at the journey of the association into 2022. God bless you all, and do enjoy.
Hello, I'm Portia. We are going to chat with Chairman Neil Corbin, Chairman of the Small Business Association of Barbados. Hello, Chairman. Welcome. How are you doing today?
I'm very well, and how are you?
I am doing great.
Excellent.
Listen, this year is going to be one of challenges. I mean, economic growth and 2020, economic growth and 2021, you couldn't speak about them in the same breath at all.
Yeah.
If we are going to have any sort of economic growth in 2022, what do you see as the challenges that are bound to confront the small business sector?
Well, I think the past year has been very difficult because of COVID and also because of the IMF program. It has lent tremendous austerity for the Small Business Association members, and I would say probably the population of Barbados on a whole. And with now phase 2 of the IMF program to be launched again probably in the very near term, that is going to be obviously contributing to the economics of the island, and by extension us as a people, and also the Small Business Association. In addition to that, though, we have not yet heard of the government's plan for the growth of the economy, and that makes it very, very difficult to do any kind of prediction or planning because we don't know what the policymakers are going to do. And I don't want to speak too clearly on what I think will be the plan, because I could say something to you this afternoon that could be completely turned upside down when the new program is launched or when we hear the estimates in March. So I don't want to go too far in that. What I can say to you though is that MSMEs need to be paid on time. This is what we are seeing now. So cash flow. Cash flow is extremely important to a small business, and whether it's an IMF program or not, that is one of the things that will hamper economic growth in this year and in any year, because if they're not paid on time, then their cash flow goes down and they're not able to continue. So what we see happening in the island is that, at least from where I sit, we can see it clearly, is that small businesses want to continue. They have the impetus to continue, but the cash flow is hampered. They are constantly called upon to pay their dues, but then they are not being paid, so it creates a deficit. And this is a serious thing that we're seeing among membership right now, and we really need it to be addressed. So if someone said to me, Neil, how would you address it? I would say, pay them on time. Their payments be on time. You know, in the world, there is, I don't want to call it a debt crisis yet because it hasn't been called that, but debt has grown in the past 50 years by some 200 and something %. And of course, a spike in 2020, right when COVID hit. So we are in serious debt. If you look at the graph of the debt, both the public debt and the private debt, it is a graph that has a very, very steep curve. And then in 2020 it jumps up, really high. And this is what we're experiencing. So I say all of that to say that because of the debt, because of the IMF program in phase 2 coming into play, and also no clear direction from the government, we are hard pressed to really say what would you do. I can't give you a clear answer at this point as to what would we do. Obviously that's the challenges, but what would we do about it? I think we need to wait a little bit and see what comes in the estimates before we make too much.
And while we're waiting on that policy, certainly you're hoping that we adopt the mindset as small business people of understanding that we are worthy to be paid on time.
Absolutely.
That is a mindset.
Absolutely. Our services are not in any way substandard to anyone else's services, and therefore we expect to be paid on time.
That is true.
Yes.
Relief and rescue. are important to micro, small, and medium-sized businesses. What are the 5 priority areas of programming you'd like to see from the likes of government, the financial institutions, that includes the credit unions, the civil society, you know, what we call the stakeholders?
Well, this is a broad subject for me. What we would like to see, you know, first of all, let us take it, you know, piece by piece. Yes. So looking outward. Obviously, we can't do things the same way. Barbados is 166 square miles. We've existed for all of the time, 300 plus years as a nation, you know, under democracy, and we need to start to do things differently. Looking outward and doing things differently is something that we have to go towards. Because we're small, persons don't necessarily come to us, but we have to go toward that. And the new opportunities that are in keeping with the global way of doing things is something that we have to connect to and go and do that. So we have to stop thinking, we have to really stop thinking of ourselves as small Barbados, but rather see ourselves as Barbados, the Republic, in a global setting, and start to go towards that so that we can become players in the global market. I do not like, persons tend to say, oh, you know, Barbadians are not that way minded. Well, not yet. But it will become so in 2022. You know, we need to move towards that. Then the financial institutions. Right now we're seeing financial institutions being more protectors of lending, of funds, rather than lenders of funds. And banks in the traditional sense have always had risk, yes, but they have to be able to lend. And lending is a very necessary thing for a small business operator, whether it be a bank, whether it be a credit union, whether it be just any kind of credit facility, any kind of financial institution.
And lending at good rates.
And lending at good rates, yes, lending at good rates, and to be able to take persons at their word. Yes. As I said before, there will always be risk either way. I think that there needs to be a policy on the commercial lending for credit unions, for instance. So far that is very sketchy, you know. It's not, and they have to go to banks. And then when you go to the commercial banks, it is by no means easy to get any financial aid from the commercial banks, and they say so without any hesitation at all. Looking inward now, and this is where I really get passionate. Patriotism. Patriotism is key, because looking inward, we have small businesses that are functioning every day in this country. We have 1,200 plus members of the Small Business Association, plus 6 member groups. And the problem is, and I speak also from a personal standpoint in my own business, is that we find that Bajans don't like to buy from Bajans. You know, that's putting it quite bluntly. And also the big organizations, retail stores, the supermarkets, it is difficult for the small operator to get a place on those shelves. But yet you see a multiplicity of products coming from all over the world, coming, and the shelves are stocked full of these things, when a lot of those products are actually made on island by small businesses, by large businesses, you know, enterprises here. But yet for some reason we seem to think that what's outside is better. And I have never been able to understand that. And I think that for the membership of the Small Business Association, especially because that's the context in which I'm speaking, there needs to be, if it is made on island, that needs to be the first priority on the shelf. If it is not made on island, or the variety is not there, then we can start to look outward. But we need to stop all these imports. So looking inward, that's my thing. And then, of course, to get the ease of doing business.
Yes.
You know, the ease of doing business. Government in its policy making at this stage in the game, we have got to get past this bureaucracy that we have to deal with all the time. The bureaucracy is onerous to persons looking to start up businesses. We need to aggressively remove Barbados from the bottom of the list, of the ease of doing business list, to the top. And you know, Barbados has done extremely well, and the government of Barbados did a very admirable job in handling COVID. where they had to operate at on a global level. And we know what our Prime Minister, we know the level of respect that our Prime Minister got when she operated on a global level at the conference that she spoke at, that she led. And I see no reason why we can't have that same level of representation on a global level to move us from so far down the list, almost one of the most difficult places on earth to do business, to one of the easiest places on earth to do business. Portia, I say it with no regret, and I say it with no apology, that I think that we are far too far in to be still having this problem. I think we need to get ourselves up to the top of the list in the ease of doing business. New Zealand is an island. Yeah. New Zealand is, I think, number 2 in the world on the ease of doing business list. And I don't want to say where we are. we are too far down. It is painful to contemplate some of the archaic bureaucracies and policies that we have to go through to do business. And of course, persons are looking in to see, well, how easy is it, and then they don't come because they find it very difficult to invest, you know. And then the cost of doing business. Well, the cost of doing business obviously is a great deterrent, and it also plays back into what I said before, having cash flow. You know, so the cost of doing business is a great deterrent. And some persons will say, well, it's because we import everything that the cost of business is so high. Well, you know what? I tend to agree, but I don't think it's necessary. I think we need to stop importing everything and allow the Barbadian public and those entrepreneurs and the business operators to begin to do business. The more input you have into the business, the more business the business will make, and then we obviously from that then the persons start to have a better quality of living, and the whole economy then begins to become warm and heated, you know, because there's more business. If a person is making pepper sauce, for instance, but there are 5 other pepper sauces on the shelf that have come from an overseas territory, they're still selling pepper sauce, but maybe at 4 to 5 times less than what they could be selling. So the revenue generation is 4 to 5 times less than what they could be doing. And I don't need to. This is not an economic forum, so I don't need to explain. Probably may not be able to explain what that generates too. But I think anybody that knows business will understand that the more you put through it, the more revenue it generates. Yeah. So you know, we're one of the most heavily taxed countries in the world, and then to have that also added to it, it's difficult. It's very difficult. I've said a mouthful on that. But that's just my passion, you know. So to have relief and rescue in the MSME sector, yes, we need it desperately, but it's not something that we can do on our own. We do need policies in place to help us to be able to function both on a global platform where we will go out to that, and we need to adjust our mindset to that we become global people, but also inward as well, where the priority would be to let our own businesses here function within our space. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As difficult as it is to do business in Barbados, as much as we can improve on that, some businesses did actually manage to innovate during the toughest time of the pandemic. Now we know necessity is a mother of invention, and we know that Barbadians are very innovative people.
Sure.
To what do you credit this ability to be resilient, to be innovative?
Barbadian determination. That's in our blood. That's in our culture. We have as a people know how to get through. You know, but it doesn't mean that we have to continue, that we have to fight our way through every single thing. Because I don't want to seem like if I'm talking of cross purposes to what I just said, and now I'm saying that we can get through anything. You know, there has to come a time when we our wings are now used and we're able to go higher and become more not only resilient but more what should I say? I don't want to use the word well-rounded, but we're more efficient in what we do, and we can strengthen the Barbadian economy because of that. So
there's less of a struggle.
Less of a struggle. That thank you. That probably sums it up nicely. The MSME sector, though, has been resilient because it's so nimble and so responsive. You know, so where you get a single person in a business, they're far more responsive than a big corporation. And For instance, you get a digital operator, where their actual address is not brick and mortar. They can function from anywhere. They can have their laptop, even their phone, and they can do business from anywhere. So I can call in and say I have a problem with my website, and he can fix it in a parking lot. So it makes a lot of sense. And it may sound funny, but I don't think there's a single IT professional that's unemployed in Barbados, because of the protocols that COVID that were created because of COVID. The IT professionals have obviously had to step up, and everybody was meeting online, and everybody would have their little challenges and their issues, but the IT professionals have fixed it and have done very, very well. So the services sector of the Small Business Association is a prime and shining example of the resilience, as we spoke about, and also the ability to move quickly during COVID. It is a shining example of it. Services sector especially. You have the sectors as well, but more so the services sector. They have done very, very, very well. Very well. And I think it is not only because how we are as Barbadians and how we are accustomed to making things work, but also because we are able to be nimble and move quickly and serve the purpose, so to speak. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Advocacy is one of your pillars of operation. What is first on your lobbying agenda for the Small Business Association this year?
You trying to get my secrets?
Oh, yes.
Oh, dear.
Tell all.
Well, I can give you some.
Okay.
I can give you some. The first thing is cost of living and the cost of doing business. As I said earlier, that is the most pressing matter for every one of us. The cost of living and the cost of doing business. We as Small Business Association members, we know that the members try their hardest, but if they are constantly faced with a situation where it's one step forward and two steps back because the cost of doing business is so high and the cost of living is constantly rising, then it places us at a serious disadvantage. We are the second, I think we are the second or the third most expensive place to live in the world, in the entire world, this 166 square miles. And that has no shining value at all to me. Not at all. I really think that it's not necessary, Of course, it's easy to say that. There's a lot of things that feed into that, and we've had conversation to that already. But it needs to be stopped, though. We need to stem it, and we need to be able to be much more efficient in the way we do business within the island, so that our cost of living and cost of doing business is not so high. So in order to move towards that, there are 5 things that I will give you that we intend to lobby for and obviously have advocacy for this year. Number 1 is the cost of fuel. That is a great cost to small businesses these days, whether it is gasoline or diesel fuel. Across the entire spectrum of the Small Business Association, because everyone has a car, everyone has most business persons would have some sort of vehicle that they have to operate, so it's a cost. And the second one would be financing, as we spoke about the banks and the credit unions. So the ability to obtain secure financing, that's what I mean. And it is so difficult these days. It just seems as if there's some sort of a blockage and a mindset there that lending is not our business anymore. We want to make sure that our bottom line looks good, so we're going to charge as much fees as we can, but we're not lending any money. Then we have the garbage and sewage tax. That has been seen across Barbados, whether you're a member of the Small Business Association or not, as an extremely unfair and very controversial tax. Yes. And we intend to address that this year for our members. We intend to do that this year. The 2% fee on all external purchases, also very controversial, also very, very difficult to maneuver, because it's a cost that is really unnecessary. Now some persons may say unnecessary because you don't know the whole picture, but I think I know enough to know that it's unnecessary, and I would like it for it to be removed, to be frank. And then the final one I'm going to give you, because I can't give you all. The final one is the number portability. Among our members, there is a great call to address this, and we are going to address it this year. where a person can be with one service provider, mobile service provider, and they decide from an efficiency or from a cost standpoint to move to another service provider, but they now can't move their telephone number with them. And that in itself needs to be fixed. I do not think that is fair trade. I think that needs to be addressed, and we will address that this year. That is that's the fifth and final one that I'll give you that we need to address. There are more, but those are the 5 that I will give you at this time. Portia, I'm concerned that we need to do things differently. we cannot continue, especially since COVID, and we've been forced to do things differently there. But you know, as the country opens back up to its full capacity and the children go back into school and so on, we cannot do things the same way. The world itself has changed, and if we think that we are going to return to the good old days, I think that would probably be one of the most dangerous things that we could possibly think about to do at this time. We must not return to the good old days, so to speak, in the same way of doing things. This is the golden opportunity to address matters that have been pending at CARICOM level, to address matters that have been pending on a global level, so that we can begin to operate on a global level. We are no longer small little Barbados, just operating within 166 square miles with our culture and I is a Bajan kind of thing. I is a Bajan. I am, and no one will ever take that from me. But I'm concerned that we are going to come back to doing business the same way, and therefore we will gain nothing. I think that COVID has been a big wake-up call for us. COVID has forced us to do things differently, and whilst we have not liked it, the truth is that there has been a silver lining to that cloud. And if we don't take advantage of that, I think that we are going to be the worst off for it. We don't want COVID. I'm not saying that we should continue in COVID, those COVID protocols. Obviously, we want to get past that, but we've grown as a people. We've grown in our mindsets. We've grown in the way we do things because we've been forced to. But we don't want to now slip back. We want to continue that growth pattern onward with that impetus, and now let us grow and grow so we become more global.
If we don't take advantage of everything that has happened, then we're not really Bajan. The old people would say, never bad happening.
There you go.
At least that's what my grandmother would say.
There you go.
Now, Chairman, if I look at these 5 things that you've given us as part of your lobbying agenda,
yes,
essentially, correct me if I'm wrong, essentially, you're asking all of our main stakeholders to, instead of functioning as the people we come to for customer service, to function as partners.
Of course.
Okay.
Well, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
We are all partners.
We are.
Yes, we are.
And the size of the enterprise doesn't matter.
No.
As long as the focus is moving Barbados forward.
Correct. Correct.
I think the Small Business Association is very fortunate that we have a chairman in the name of one Neil Corbett. Know that the members are behind you. Certainly know that the Secretariat is behind you, Mr. Chairman.
Well, thank you very much for that. I do know that. And it is a great pleasure, and it is also a great honor for me to serve in this position. You know, titles don't mean a lot to me. I'm not great on those, but the work that's involved and looking after the association and its members, that's what gets me. That's what drives me. You know, I could sit on the floor and still have the passion. You know, happen to be in this position now, that's good, that's okay. But what the members need, that's what my passion is. That's what drives me.
It's going to be a good year. Yeah? It's going to be a good year for the Small Business Association.
I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
name is Charles Carter, and I'm the first Vice Chair of the Small Business Association. During this pandemic, we would have seen a lot of our members struggling to keep their business afloat. Some would have gone out of business. Some are barely staying afloat, while some are able to sustain what have occurred during this pandemic. But that means that this is a critical juncture in the lives of these small businesses. Therefore, I will work with the association to review government policies which affect the sector and make the necessary changes where applicable. I also want to work with the association in member engagement discussions because we need to listen to the needs of the members of the various sectors and address those needs where necessary. We also need to agitate the financial services sector of all areas, whether government or non-governmental, because we need to provide more affordable funding for our small businesses. We also need to make it easier for them to access the e-commerce facilities. And we also need to make the ease of doing business better. We also want to engage members who are exporting and also to engage with the export-related agencies so we can identify the barriers to export so that we can have more small businesses exporting. These are just some of the areas that we can address in terms of making a better environment for small businesses to flourish. Because once small businesses flourish, the economy does better. We will see the reduction in the unemployment rate. We will see more businesses being able to invest and take advantage of investment opportunities because they now have the capabilities and the capacity to be able to take advantage of those investment opportunities, either singularly or collectively. And we also will see the emergence of a wide variety of small businesses because what we need is more businesses who have the potential to create employment and who also helps with the GDP of the country. I want to see a better Barbados, and the only way I can do that is by contributing. And the way I chose to contribute is to give of my time and my expertise to the Small Business Association so that we can see a better life for all.
Hi, I'm Robert Homer, Managing Director of RMH Financial Consultants, Inc., and also second Vice Chairman on the Board of Directors of the Small Business Association of Barbados. The small business sector in Barbados is very diverse and spans all industries. But what we are finding is that a lot of them are finding it difficult to keep up with administration, especially where it comes to filing returns for employees. And we are talking about the employees who are under the tax threshold of $25,000, who are entitled to get a reverse tax credit at the end of the year. The employers have not been filing the PAYE returns, thus denying these employees their right to that reverse tax credit claim. Some employers are not aware, and some are just not able to do it because of their schedules, and they need assistance in getting the records kept properly so they can make the submissions. So over the next year, and as a director, I hope to encourage many more small businesses to become compliant and to also consider taking advantage of the corporation tax rate of 5.5% by considering to move to the next step from a business name to an incorporated company, where the tax rate would be 5.5% as opposed to the personal income tax rate that you would have to pay as a business name. So thank you for your time. I am Robert Homer.
Thank you for inviting me to speak on my role in the Board of Directors. First, my name is Drayton Carter, Treasurer of the organization. I came representing my own organization, Drayton J. Carter, Chartered Accountants, which been in business now for over 25 years. So I can see I have quite a bit of experience in the accounting area. The bylaws of the association speak to the treasurer having a familiarity with financial matters. So even though in my case I'm certified, anyone having experience with finance, understanding balance sheets, income statement, could serve as part of the directors. We appreciate the directors' work as a unit. so that there's no individual power of a director, but the board must work together. And in our case, we're happy to see we do have a pretty strong board, which will definitely support the development of the organization. At our last AGM, we did speak to the whole fact of us having pretty good cash balances. We also noted too that we are very appreciative of the role of government in supporting the organization. So our role is to build and develop the small business sector, and we obviously need all players on board to give us that support. So we do thank everyone for their part in building the organization. With regard to experience, again, I can note not only am I a certified accountant, but I'm also a certified director and a member of the Chartered Governance Institute of Canada. So I do bring all that knowledge and experience to support the development of the boards. So I think in that capacity that we do have a strong board, and we will continue to work to build the Small Business Association of Barbados. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Dave Wiff, Managing Director of Atlantic Seafood. I was recently elected to the Board of Directors to represent the agribusiness. My role on the board will be to work with ideas, and we work with the SBA in terms of bringing forward ideas, solutions, things that affect the sector. Things that affect the sector will be the high cost of doing business in terms of things like the 2%, things like the tax on the water, freight for those that hold the import, the seedlings and the water irrigation systems, how we can get the government to look at how they can deal with the freight on the imports and that sort of stuff. One of the things that I think that we have to look at too is climate change. Climate change now have been a major factor all around the world, so that's something you have to look at and discuss. Water too is an issue. I mean, I think we read that the last couple of years we have not been getting much water in Barbados, and we're not able to plant certain crops. So those are the things that we would discuss in the ways and see how we could liaison or communicate with the Ministry of Agriculture in terms of what plans they have for the farmers in terms of water supply and that sort of stuff. As to the side of fish, having been in this industry for the last 20 years or so, I have seen the fish catches has been declined over the years. I mean, like right now as I speak, we're in the middle of our fishing season, our local season, and the catches have been very, very poor. So I don't know what we can do about that. We just gotta hope that between now and time the season finish that we can have an improved supply of fish. Actually going into the light now, I would hope that things can get a lot better. Overall, I would like to have some more engagement with the members so that we can work towards a better 2022 and beyond.
I'm Jefferson Curtin, Director of the Small Business Association representing the construction sector. First of all, let me thank the general membership for this opportunity to serve you at this level to advance the cause of the Small Business will be busy this year during the course of the year. Because of this, there will be a need for more artisans. At the moment, it seems that there will be a shortage of this artisans in the industry. So it is hoped that the Small Business Association can partner with the relevant institutions to try and train as many persons in this discipline as possible. In addition, we know over the years, as a sector, we've been asking government for a 40% stake in the government procurement. This, to my mind, has increased tremendously, and it is hoped that during the course of my tenure that we can continue to lobby government so that some of this work can filter down to the small contractors in our country. I think that we also have to address the cost of increased prices, increased cost of materials. I know that shipping has increased over the year because of what's happening over the world, and I think that we have to make some contact to see how we can address the rising cost of materials. All in all, I think it's going to be a very good year for the industry, and I'm glad that I'm happy to be a part of that, and I hope that I can serve you, the general membership, with distinction. I thank you.
Hi, I'm Maya Wiltshire, recently elected as Director, General Services at the SBA. I really want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to serve in this capacity. I am the principal founder and the principal consultant of Maya Wiltshire Consultancy, Inc., where we look at consulting with corporate companies in terms of their sales and their executive teams within enterprises. Now, in the capacity of General Services Director, you're probably asking, how am I going to serve you in this space? And one of the key things is first ensure that your voice is heard. The voice of the small businesses within the general services is very important. We make a significant contribution to the Barbados economy and to society at large. And it's important that our voices are heard as we look to build our economy back, as we look to strengthen the Barbados economy coming out of this COVID situation. We know we have lots of value to add, and that's one of the areas that I would definitely be advocating on, that our value is seen and that our voices are heard. Outside of that, secondly, I would like to go on to speak about the ease of doing business. Now, this has been a topic for some time that I'm sure you have heard over time and time again, that it's very difficult to do business within Barbados. And as small businesses, it's especially difficult for us too as well. We go through the same challenges, especially when it comes to financing. We don't have the capital that large businesses will be able to invest and to go months without having particular things in place to have their organization function. And as a result of that, that is really another issue that I would like to be part of bringing to the table for you. And that is ensuring that our financial sector takes us seriously and that our financial sector as well sees the benefit and the value that we bring to the Barbados' economy. Lastly, I want to be the voice to help promote small businesses in Barbados. And the general sector, we have so much to offer. The Small Business Association has been doing a tremendous job in this area. We've seen the social media, we've seen the broadcast, we've seen the training, and I want to ensure that that continues for you, that persons understand what your businesses offer and the value that you're bringing to the society. So I really just want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to serve you in this capacity, and I look forward to meeting with you and for us to sit together and discuss these issues and how we will bring solutions to the table for this society. Thank you so much.
Greetings. My name is Donna Hope of Donna Hope HR Services, which offers HR solutions to all types of businesses. I'm a member of the Small Business Association and currently sit on the board of directors with responsibility for the professional services group. Within this group, there are accounting, marketing, and human resources management firms, to list a few. It is necessary for the entire SBA body to see these entities as allies and engage or inter-engage their services wherever possible. The small business sector has indeed been severely impacted due to downturn in economic activity as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, and this is where we can rely on each other for support and survival. Most of us rely on word of mouth advertising or advertising on the SBA website or on our social media platforms, but we need to collectively strengthen our marketing efforts. It is my intention as the representative for the sector to have collaboration with colleagues and invite suggestions and solutions where we can collectively strategize in having our work of the SBA further highlighted in public and do our part in pushing our organization forward. I am a proud member of the Small Business Association, and it is indeed my distinct pleasure to serve you.
Hi, my name is Andre Clark, and I'm the owner of Infinite Distribution, where we predominantly cater to the women of Barbados. We sell and deliver personal hygiene products. I'm also the Director of Wholesale and Retail at the Small Business Association. In me being elected as director, I look forward to meeting the other members of my sector where we could truly identify the challenges for the micro and small business community, where it's from the high or the rise in fuel costs, shipping taxes, or even access to market. These are all challenges that we face in our day-to-day effort in trying to get our product or service to the public. And I look forward to working with the Small Business Association, where we lobby with the government to make things more cost efficient for the genuine public. Once again, my name is Andrea Clark, and I look forward to working with you.
My name is Dr. Erica Smith. I'm the CEO of CostGap, a group member of the Small Business Association of Barbados. I have over 20 years of experience as a senior manager, and it is my hope that I can take advantage of that to work with other group members to build new opportunities for economic strengthening. It is my intention also to take advantage of this new structure of the SBA to build relationships and networks. I hope to meet and engage with members to better understand your concerns. And I also wish to build our networks, identify common interests, and to empower members. We will work towards the development of solidarity in the pursuit of specific objectives of members as well as broader concerns. I hope I can be an active and effective director to bring about meaningful change. Thank you.
I'm Dr. Lynette Holder, Chief Executive Officer and Secretary of the Small Business Association. Now, in my role as CEO, I'm responsible for the management of the operations of the Secretariat, as well as the execution of the policies of the Board of Directors. In addition, my responsibility includes implementing the strategic plan of the association and ensuring that those programs and those activities, as determined by the board, are implemented on a monthly basis. Now, I've enjoyed thus far this role as the chief functionary of the organization because it allows me to not only interact with our board and understand what is their vision for the association, but also to engage our members in a very intimate way, to engage our constituents to ensure that the plans and programs of the SBA are fulfilled. I get the opportunity to manage a small team, a team of men and women that are competent, that have the technical capacity and the interest in ensuring that the association is able to grow and develop and that we're able to meet the needs of our members. As the secretary to the organization and to the board, I'm responsible for assisting with the governance framework of the organization to make sure that we honor the dictates of our bylaws, that the constitution of the association is adhered to, and not only at the organizational level, but that we honor the legislative framework that's in place to govern the non-profit companies in our island. Now, this responsibility could not be realized, this role could not be realized without a commitment to partnership, without a commitment to dialogue and to hearing the views from all of our stakeholders, and without a commitment to implementing the agreed plans and activities on a monthly basis. This role could not be realized as well without having the necessary accountability systems in place, our ability to measure what we do and to report on a monthly and quarterly basis to our constituents. With your support as our members, we're able to identify through our focus groups, through our polling, what are the areas of interest that would help for us to improve our lobbying, that would help to ensure we have the relevant training and educational programs that you desire, that we're able to put in place business development support and business development systems to help you grow your businesses. These are all activities, key pillars of our association and of our work plan that I have the pleasure as CEO and as secretary to the organization to implement. I thank you for the opportunity to have served in this area in the past and look forward in this year 2022 to even greater things.
Welcome to Island Fitness. How may I help you?
Looking for a dynamic group session or maybe a bit of personal training? Then Island Fitness Center is the place for you. Have kids? We've got you covered. So put that work in and get that sweat on. Island Fitness Center, energy for life. Visit us at Building 1 Pelican Village or give us a call 546-5455.
As I said at the beginning, this January 2022 members information session would have been one with a difference. I hope that having heard from the members of the board that you have a greater appreciation for the persons that currently serve, their vision and the perspectives for the organization and how we can develop and how we can grow. Now, what is required as we continue into 2022 and this journey into this year, that we have collaboration, that we have commitment to work together, because we can only achieve all of our goals and our plans if we work together as a small business association, as a membership within the MSME community. Look forward in the ensuing months for us to continue our information sessions, to continue our training, to continue our development programs. Look forward in the ensuing months as well for us to engage you as our membership in a number of focus groups and a number of polls as we try our best to gather information that we can represent you in our lobbying, in our advocacy, in our programming. It has been our pleasure to share with you in this first webinar for the year our perspectives as the leadership team of the Small Business Association. We thank you, members, friends, partners, all, for viewing this session today, and wish you God's blessings for the ensuing months as we continue in this journey into 2022.